Hello everybody, the purpose of this video is to guide you through Module 3. Again, read this introductory information and the learning objectives. Take a look at the module assignment summary due dates. You'll see that what's next is we've got some APA formatting resources. This is because in this module, Module 3, you're going to begin working in writing and research in the natural sciences. The natural sciences does not use MLA style like the humanities. Rather, the natural sciences uses APA style, and so do the social sciences. So we're going to have to make a transition over from what the MLA style paper looks like and how to do in-text citations in a works cited page in MLA style over to the APA style page, what that layout looks like, what you should do for in-text citations, and what you should do for a reference page in the sciences. So you need to take a look at this APA Format Basics document, the APA Style Introduction, the APA Style Guide. I also plan to create a video that I'll plop in here for you about using APA style. You've got a link for APA formatting in Microsoft Word if that's your word processor, or APA formatting in Google Docs. They'll show you how to set up the page. Once you've gone through all this APA versus MLA stuff, you then take the APA versus MLA quiz, which contains 13 questions, and you're allowed up to 2 attempts on this quiz, and your grade will be the higher of the attempts. You're going to ultimately, then after you take that quiz, you're going to work on a science research project, and there's some steps to this. But before I show you the project itself, I want to go through how you actually can conduct the research. So on this FTCC Thompson Library website link, if you click on that, you get taken to the Fayetteville Tech Library page, and there's basically 2 main places where you can really do searches. I'm going to show you the one that I think is the most important and the most effective. That's actually not this. We'll come back to this in a minute. But if you scroll further down to this area, you see it says NC Live. And if you click on NC Live, you get a new page. And this really is a better database, I think, than the Fayetteville Tech database as far as searching for scholarly articles is concerned. Once you're on this page, you see this advanced search underneath the search bar. Click on that, because you're going to need to have specific details and specific parameters for your articles. For example, when you're searching for scholarly articles for this assignment, it needs to be published within the last 10 years. So you click on the 10 years button, okay? You also need to have the full text online, so click on that. And it needs to be scholarly and peer-reviewed. What that means is that it's going to filter out all the stuff that's not scholarly and that didn't go through a peer review process. That means that didn't go through a process where other experts in the field looked at that text and analyzed it and made sure that it didn't contain any glaring errors and that its methods were sound and that sort of a thing. So it needs to be within the last 10 years, full text online, scholarly, and peer-reviewed. There are some other filters for you that you can use depending on whether you're looking for something very specific within a specific discipline, like chemistry, computer science, advanced dentistry, etc., etc. Okay? But you can then use this search field to type in whatever you need to type in. For example, I had one that popped up already because you can see I've used it. Efficacy of teaching with videos. Oh, there's the irony. I'm doing it right now. But you can type in your search topic, and then you can click enter, or is there a submit button? I don't remember. I think you just click enter and it'll search for you. Okay, so that's one way that you can go about conducting research for scholarly articles. I'll actually just hit enter. And look, it came up with 465 results, and so I can, and they're with full text online, scholarly, peer-reviewed within the last 10 years, right? So I can go through and I can choose these and take a look at them. You will need to tell which library you're using, and so ours is Fayetteville Tech, Fayetteville Technical Community College. and log in. And then it gives you your FTCC username and password. If it doesn't preload it, you'll enter that as well. So you have to connect Fayetteville Tech to NC Live by going through this process. And then it will send you to your resource. It's taking a moment. Oh, in that case, the document was unavailable. Okay, so what do I do now? Well, you can go back to here and choose another one. And this one shows up. That will happen sometimes. One thing that you can do once you get to your article, you can download and save the article as a PDF on your computer so that you don't have to continually go back to try and find it again through the search engine. Okay, so I recommend that when you find one that you like and that you can use, save it as a PDF to your computer so that you can use it later, or you can find it later quickly and easily. Okay, now let's say that you have searched NC Live and you also want to check out the Fayetteville Tech search engine. You just go back to the Fayetteville Tech website. Again, advanced search. Underneath that search bar, notice this setup's a little bit different. You can then give the date at which it could start in the end year. So this is how you will set like your 10 years. So I'm going to say January of 2013. Oh, I guess I should say 2014. It's actually technically right now. It's early January in 2024. Who knows when you're watching this, but and I want to start at January 2014 and end January of 2024, right? And it needs to be peer reviewed, so I click on the peer review box. Okay, and then I can enter my search terms or search phrase and click search, and I can do the same thing, get the articles. Okay, now that you've seen how to use that, you might be going, okay, what am I using it for? Well, you already know, probably, and you will when you're going and actually looking at the articles, that the sciences can be very difficult to understand when they're presented in the academic scholarly articles. They have their own language, they have mathematical equations, it can be very confusing. What you're going to be doing is you're going to work on a project, though, in which you're going to do research on a natural science topic. And then you're going to present that information not in that form of the academic style, but in a style for a popular audience, okay? Excuse me. So just as an example, this academic article here, it describes a snake robot that was created by, I think it was Carnegie Mellon University, and it gives all sorts of technical details. Notice the equations, and I'm not a math guy, and so that freaks me out. And there's all sorts of other details and everything about this that are in scientific, in the scientific discipline, in the scientific format. And so, but that information can be presented to a popular audience. See, the scientific article is written for other scientists. Scholarly articles are written for other scholars. But that same information can be taken and presented for lay people. So, for example, there's a video of the Carnegie Mellon snake robot, which is much more accessible for most people, right, for a popular audience. There's also an article here about the same snake robot that was written in a way that is accessible for a popular audience. So that's what you're going to do. You're going to research your own science topic. You're going to look at the academic articles to get your information, because that's credible sources, and then you're going to present that information in a different format for a popular audience, for a non-scholarly audience. Okay, so here this is where you'll actually see the assignment description. You're going to learn about new perspectives and use synthesis or making new knowledge from your research, and practice effectively translating scientific content into a genre appropriate for a popular common audience. All that stuff that I just mentioned. You're going to choose 2 academic sources for this project. They should come from NC Live or the Fayetteville Tech database, right? You're going to use APA style, and you get to choose how you're going to present your information. So you first want to synthesize your information, right? And I give you some steps on that, some things to think about. What do the studies have in common? Where do they connect together? Where do they diverge together? What specific themes or topics can you find to discuss that are relevant to both articles, right? You want to synthesize or put your articles, information in their articles together and see how they work together to present a full picture of your topic of choice. Now you get to present this either as a narrated presentation, so it's a PowerPoint presentation with your voice over top of the PowerPoint, and your narration needs to total 7 to 10 minutes, okay? You can do a podcast episode or a video essay. So you can do a podcast episode where you maybe even have a friend or a family member who visits and you have a conversation and you might have to script the conversation. Or if you're a family member or friend and you are very good, like they already know about the subject or whatever, maybe they read the articles with you, you guys can discuss the articles. Or you can do a video essay kind of like what someone does on YouTube when they are responding to some new information that has come out and they make this video essay. Again, you should be talking for 7 to 10 minutes, okay? So it can be video or audio, whatever works for you, as long as it's 7 to 10 minutes long. Or you can choose to do a traditional essay with an infographic. That is like a 3 to 4 page typed essay in APA format, discussing what you learned from your research, and you have to create an original 1-page infographic. Now you might say, what is an infographic? Well, you can type in infographic examples, and you'll see that an infographic is simply information presented in some sort of graphic layout. So this, you can have like charts and figures and people and facts, and it can flow. It can be like a flow chart. You can have something kind of like this, where you're explaining an idea or explaining content with some sort of graphic representation. So if you choose option C, it's going to be the 3 to 4 page essay plus your 1-page infographic. I give you some steps on how to choose your genre. I give you some steps on what the project should contain in terms of its content. Okay, you're going to have a few weeks to work on this. So you'll work on this on your own, and then you'll submit a 100-word reflection, which is your science research progress report, just to let me know how the work is going, what challenges you've encountered, and so forth. And then you'll submit the actual final product here at the Science Research Project area. Okay, if you have questions on any of this material, please email me.